amateur when it comes to fighting games. The only one I own is Super Smash Bros. If you saw my 4 Glory record, you'd know. Oh my god! I suck. So there really hasn't been a fighting game that's caught my eye. Until Pokkén Tournament. I mean, it's Pokemon in a fighting game. So is this game good? Is it worth buying Wii U for? Let's find out.
Pokkén Tournament is one of those games that's easy to learn, but hard to master. By pressing the X and the Y buttons, you're able to do simple moves against your opponent. And by moving the analog stick a certain way, and doing different button combinations, you're able to do moves that'll do more damage to your opponent. This allows for a game that can be played by casuals like me, and also professionals who like to play competitively. And there's 2 different phases within a battle. First off is the field phase, which is better suited for more ranged attacks. And then there's the duel phase, which is a much more traditional view that's used in almost every other fighting game. Before each battle, you're able to choose a set of support Pokemon, which have different abilities depending on which ones you choose. And sometimes these little bastards can come out of nowhere and turn the tide of the battle into your favor. And most important of all is your synergy meter. As you pull off different combos against your opponent, it increases. When full, you can pull off the Pokemon special move known as Synergy Burst. Graphically speaking, this game looks very good. The character models for each of the Pokemon that are used look awesome. And at least during the single player, I didn't find any hiccups when it came to the frame rate. It stayed at a constant 60 frames per second, which is amazing considering how complicated some of the Pokemon's synergy bursts are. I mean, just look at this move this Gardevoir is using. The frame rate is not going down at all. Unfortunately, if you want to play with a friend on the same Wii U, the frame rate does go down to 30 frames per second. The only way to fix that is if your friend buys himself a Wii U.
Now for the part I hate the most in this game, the story. But you might be saying to yourself, but DanDan, it's a fighting game. The story doesn't even matter. No! Fuck you. If a game developer put it in the game, I'm able to critique it as harshly as everything else in the game. So here we go.
The main story takes place in the Farum League. To defeat the story, you must beat the 4 leagues. Green, Blue, Red, and then finally Chroma. In each of the leagues, there's league matches. After you defeat everybody there, there's tournament matches. And finally, after you defeat the tournament matches, you're able to do the promotion test, and once you beat that person, you're able to go on to the next league. Unfortunately, none of the matches in the leagues are that difficult. I only lost about 2 times my entire playthrough. And here's the gist of the main story. Shadow Mewtwo has taken away the ability for other Pokemon to use their Synergy Burst, aka those really cool ass moves that you're able to use. And the only one who can stop him are you and your partner Pokemon. And the bullshit excuse they use is that you and your Pokemon's synergy power is stronger than others. And the cutscenes are pretty boring too. They use still animated characters, and also some of the worst voice acting I've ever heard. And it follows this formula. Battle, cutscene. Battle, cutscene. Battle, and after all that, you get to face Shadow Mewtwo. His battle's pretty mediocre. Yeah, he has 3,000 health, but it's only padding to make the fight last longer. With how powerful they made Shadow Mewtwo seem throughout the entire game, this boss battle was very disappointing. And after you defeat him, he gets destroyed by the light.
What you say? Oh, that you only meant well.
And after that, he just becomes regular Mewtwo again and everything goes back to normal. It's like Shadow Mewtwo didn't happen. Surprisingly enough, that's not the end of the story. You're still able to face the Chroma League, and also become the Farum League champion. I was actually pretty hyped for this fight. It's the one after Shadow Mewtwo. It's the real final boss of the game. I mean, look at this guy. He's so cool, and his name is Glenn. He might actually kick my ass. And it turns out he's 10,000 times easier than Shadow Mewtwo. The final boss battle of the game is absolutely no challenge at all.
What you say? Oh, that you only meant well.
All you get at the end of the game is a title card that says congratulations. That's it. After that, the credits start to roll.
And for defeating the champion, you actually do get to play a Shadow Mewtwo, but if you're like me, who bought the game when it came out, you got a Shadow Mewtwo Amiibo card. This allows you to play a Shadow Mewtwo right when you start the game. So for myself, there was no prize for beating the final boss. The story lacks substance, but the gameplay is so good and it looks amazing. If you have a Wii U, I definitely recommend getting this game. But it is not a Wii U seller. Do not buy a Wii U just for this game. And now if you'll excuse me, it's time to kick more people's ass with Pikachu Libre. Just look at him, he's so cute.